What they do, what it is, this is Orion aka Brass Balls, bringing you a deep dive tape stash straight to your door. Before I get into this little cassette that I got for you, this single of a gem, please make sure you subscribe to the Orion Hip Hop YouTube channel, where you can peep previous episodes of Deep Dive Tape Stash, music from yours truly, dope obscure demos and remixes, all that, and a bundle of joy. You feel me? This is Coolio's magnum opus of a single, Gangsta's Paradise. The year is 1995, about November, so we're talking late 95. So this really hit the airwaves strong in 96, if you ask me. In 1996, there was no bigger rap song than Gangsta's Paradise because of so many elements and so many variables that I'm gonna get into as to why that is. This by no means was Coolio's first introduction to the world. People already knew of him from his previous album, which was It Takes a Thief. That had his breakout single, Fantastic Voyage, and he was pretty much a household name at this point, man. People really recognized who Coolio was. He was an up-and-coming star in hip-hop, no doubt. But when this song hit, it really took him to the next level. This, to me, this song is what plateaued the climax of the gangsta rap era in hip-hop. And this is why I say that, because when this song hit, it was for the movie Dangerous Minds. That film was fresh off the heels of movies like Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society, and so many other classics that were in that, ghetto, urban America reflection of society type of film. And so a lot of people thought that Dangerous Minds was going to be up there with those classics, but it fell short. And so, unlike Menace to Society and Boys to the Hood, Gangsta's Paradise, I think, helped Dangerous Minds more so than the movie helped the song. In fact, I would venture to say that the movie and how badly it was received hurt the song Gangsta's Paradise. And I often wonder what would be the difference if Gangsta's Paradise wasn't on Dangerous Minds, but rather a movie like Menace to Society. How would we look at this song today? I say that because I've had this conversation with many of my hip-hop counterparts, many of my homies within the scene, and Gangsta's Paradise sometimes is looked down upon as a good gangsta rap song because of its commercial success. That's why I would say that this was the climax of it, that of gangsta rap, that coupled with the unfortunate death of Tupac and Biggie. So we're gonna get into this song and not get into that chaos. You feel me? Dangerous Minds, why it didn't work. Like, Michelle Pfeiffer's a great actress, no doubt, but it just I don't know, it just didn't hit. They got this guy Emilio who's like the main bully in the movie or something, and his character looks completely out of place. He looks like a middle-aged man. What the hell is this guy even doing in a high school? It's so weird. It looks like he belongs in the movie The Wanderers rather than Dangerous Minds in the middle of LA or whatever. It just kind of felt out of place. That's like Hollywood casting, you know what I'm saying, I guess, on that. Yeah, the movie just fell short. The soundtrack of Dangerous Minds, you would think with a song like Coolio's Gangsta's Paradise that it would have so many other bangers, but the soundtrack fell really short. And the soundtrack, I think, is a reflection of the movie, where you have a dope-ass actress like Michelle Pfeiffer, and then you have a dope-ass song like Gangsta's Paradise, but then everything else around those two elements fell mad short, in my opinion. So Gangsta's Paradise ruled the airwaves from 96 to 97, even garnering Coolio with a Grammy Award that he got from it. Coolio, the MC from Compton, never was a threatening type of gangster rapper, really. And so this song, Gangsta's Paradise, was kind of a little different to be coming from Coolio. Yeah, he had songs where he tackled social commentary and things like that before, but never really delved into, I never really considered Coolio a gangster rapper. I don't think anybody did at that point. The producer of this song, Doug Rashid, actually has some other credits to his name. A lot of R&B music that he produced, including for Montel Jordan, Payback, which actually features Coolio. He also produced for Tupac, Only God Could Judge Me, and Richie Rich, Real Pimp. And another notable track is Cam, K-A-M, a song called War Dance. On the hook, of course, is LV. LV murdered this shit, and I actually found an interview of LV on Vlad TV where he talked about this song and how it came about, because it was initially his song. Yes, it samples a Stevie Wonder song, and even how he's rapping Gangsta's Paradise is an interpolation of that same Stevie Wonder song. I believe it's a song off of Songs in the Key of Life album from Stevie. But anyways, LV has this interview where he talked about how this song came about. Doug Rashid made the beat. He was in the studio. LV started coming up with the hook and everything, and then he just needed a rapper. He hollered at South Central Cartel's Prodigy, not to be confused with Prodigy of Mobb Deep, but he had hollered at South Central Cartel's Prodigy. He passed on the track. Coolio was kind of passing on it, but finally gave in and wrote the stellar verses that you hear on Gangsta's Paradise today. A little something that came off of this later is that Weird Al Yankovic ended up making Amish Paradise. Weird Al Yankovic was very much known at that time for doing a lot of parodies, you know, whether it was Michael Jackson, Nirvana. This guy just did everybody's stuff over with a parody, joking, and Coolio didn't take to it too well. There was some miscommunication there. Coolio didn't want it to be released, but it still got released, and then they had some beef that lasted up until 2010 or so when they finally made amends, and Coolio has even gone on the record in interviews to say that he was kind of bugging a little too hard and kind of had to let it go, and the two brothers made amends, and there's a photo of them together before Coolio unfortunately passed. Rest in peace to Coolio. He had a good career. You know, his first album went platinum. His second album, which also featured Gangsta's Paradise, went platinum. And he had a third album he dropped called My Soul on Tommy Boy, which he considers, per some interviews that I saw, his best work yet. So go peep that. Go check him out on Spotify. For those who are just curious about some other stuff, LV actually released his own solo album, and he has a completely different version of Gangsta's Paradise where it has no rapping. It's just him singing on it. And so you could peep that as well. You feel me? Description box. I'm going to put links to the Vlad TV interview with LV, as well as some other links that you guys might want to check out in relation to this track. I remember being a jit when this came out, 1996. I always thought this was a stellar track. The tape itself only got the Gangsta's Paradise song and the instrumental of the track. Should have had a little bit more, especially that this is a soundtrack. But like I said earlier, the soundtrack is forgettable. There's not very many bangers on this soundtrack at all. And this was at a time where soundtracks would be laced with bangers. If anybody knows me, you know how much I love these soundtracks, y'all. So especially from back in the days, because they did it right. You feel me? But unfortunately, Dangerous Minds did not cover that ground. Now that's all I'm going to say for today. I want to give a big shout out to my dog, Lex One, who's currently in the hospital. Brother, hope you get well soon. We got more Deep Dive Tape Stash episodes to do together. I did about 5 or 6 episodes with my brother, Lex One. There's a GoFundMe that I'm also going to put in the description box because the brother needs our help right now. He's in the hospital, and you know how that be. Medical cost is crazy in America today. So let's help the brother out. If it's in your heart, donate. Peace.